Hey everyone, it's your friend the Shawn with you. I want to talk today about form contracts, why we need to be aware of them, and why they're a bigger issue than most people think. Form contracts are out there, people use them, people go grab a lot of old contracts, copy paste, find stuff on the internet, use it, but it can be a huge risk point for you, the business owner, the business leader. Let's jump into that. But first, I want to welcome you to go subscribe to the McBride Attorneys YouTube channel. You can find the McBride Attorneys Law Show over on YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell, get the notifications, because you'll find a library of useful information there that's going to help you. Let's jump into today's tip and what we're seeing out there. So a lot of times when clients come to me with problems, right, they'll come to me after the fact. They may have formed their company, they may have just done something quick on the side, they used a form contract. And a lot of times there's buried problems with them. You really need somebody who has experience with contracts to look at your contracts to make sure there aren't some gotchas there. What kind of things do we see? I've seen a client who was owed money. Now, usually a contract will have what we call an acceleration clause, which says if somebody doesn't pay the installment payments, they owe the entire amount. This contract didn't have it, so we had a problem because the acceleration clause wasn't there. Just today, I was drafting a contract for a client. I met with the other lawyer. We negotiated. We're putting an unusual provision in the contract. Now, my client knows exactly what's going in the contract and why, and it's going to be there. But if somebody copy and pasted this in the future, they would have an unusual provision which gave unusual rights to the contract. Probably not what the parties intended. Additionally, we've seen issues with mergers or other transactions where contract clauses were copy and paste, didn't think about the legal consequences, ended up in a bad situation. So today's warning really is to be very, very careful. Contracts you see usually are negotiated, right? There are parties involved in it. They worked back and forth, they discussed it, and they probably changed things before they signed it. Most contracts you're seeing on the internet are contracts which were signed, which means usually there were people involved, there were tweaks, there were changes, there were deal points. And just copying a contract means you're going to get those deal points in there. You may or may not know what they mean. So be very careful about the forms. Make sure you understand them. Make sure you vet them. And even if you find a good form on the internet, you need to understand who it was negotiated for. Was it negotiated for the buyer? Was it negotiated for the seller? Was it negotiated for the employer? Was it negotiated for the employee? Right? All of these combinations are possible. No one contract can be fair to everybody, right? It's always a negotiation. You've got to understand, even if you find a form that's blank and it looks like it's well done, does it favor you? Does it favor the other person? And only somebody with experience that's been through a lot of contracts can tell you which is which. So get somebody on your side. Invest in getting them reviewed if the contract's of any significance, and then make sure you understand what the legal consequence of what you're signing is. So be very careful about forms. I've seen way too many problems come up with them. Usually people call me a little bit late in the process, and then we're trying to fix it. Much easier to get things right from the beginning. Particularly if you were leading the negotiations, you can really work to build favorable things into your contract. So that's your tip for today. Make sure you subscribe to McBride Attorneys Law Show. Would love to hear from you in the comments. Drop them over on YouTube. I want to hear what your experience has been, what's gone right for you, what's gone wrong for you. Don't put anything attorney-client privileged or confidential in there because all the world can see YouTube comments. But I'm looking forward to interacting with you. And a reminder, I cannot give you legal advice through YouTube or videos. For that, you need to consult your attorney. These are just general ideas to help educate you and further your process. All right, folks, I'll talk to you all again soon. It's the Shawn signing off. Looking forward to hearing from you.